How are we getting on, lads?
Are you getting on, champ? You well?
Well,
Grand. So we're joined by Stephen Kelly. He's looking well. Look at him there. He's got the Santa Claus vibe going on with a big bushy beard. If you don't know, he did something absolutely astonishing pretty recently. Stephen, how about you tell us about it?
Yeah. So, following on from last year's run, myself and which we ran from Dublin to Mayo, myself and Pete Cassidy, who is French toast in the Hotdogs, and we decided that we would run the Coastline of Mayo for the Mayo Roscommon Hospice. So it's about, actually the official coastline is about 530 something kilometers long, but if you go by road, it's about 350. So we decided we'd run that. We decided that initially we had planned on doing the whole Wild Atlantic Way, and I think we've touched on that on this before. But obviously with the COVID, that scuppered all of that. But we were given these lads, these sound lads from Kildare. There was about 5 or 6 of them, and they were climbing 6 peaks in 6 days. And we were giving them a hand out in supporting them over at the Reek. So myself and Pete were coming down that day, and we were looking out over Clew Bay, and it was absolutely glorious. And it was like, well, we can't do the full Wild Atlantic Way this year, but there's nothing really stopping us from doing the Mayo section of it. And then we looked it up, and it was about 350k on the road. And I said, that's a fairly nice distance to go at. So we decided which charity would be best to do it for. And straight away we thought of the Mayo Roscommon Hospice, simple as that, because it's local and it's a brilliant charity and hospice that gets absolutely no funding from the government or anything like that. It's all self-funded.
Yeah. Well, I actually can't really believe that. That's pretty rough. They get zero government funding.
Zero, not 1%, not even their staff over the years. And it's amazing that a hospice that was able to run for such a county as Mayo and Roscommon, that they were able to do the services that they've done over all these years with no facility until this year.
Yeah.
So they were using other hospitals and houses. They were driving from other hospitals and houses. Now they have an absolute state-of-the-art facility over in Castlebar to treat patients and their families, because they look after the families just as much as the actual patients themselves. And they're halfway through building one in Roscommon already. Now we were given the grand tour of it. It's not even open yet. It's open in the next few days. A few weeks ago, and it is like a hotel. All the medical equipment is hidden. It's hidden under the beds or at the side of the beds, and it's like, so for the patient, it makes it as homely as possible. And all that was funded by the people of Mayo, Roscommon, and of course anyone that supported it outside as well. But that was all from community.
Yeah. So what you did was a big community effort. And you got people together to donate some money towards what you're running for. In the end, how much did you raise?
Well, the link is still open, and it will be until the 12th of this month. And we're going to be running on the 13th. We're going to be doing a live draw with 5 prizes. We've already raised €8,660 odd, and we know we've more coming in. And also, we would like to get over the 10,000. To make no mistake, we would like to go over the 10,000. We set a target of 5 because we really only gave it 4 or 5 weeks to promote. The reason being, we were involved in other charities over the summer, and there were 2 or 3 massive events going on in our own hometown of Swinford for charities that were close to home, and we didn't. And they were over the top of them people. We want to let them finish off theirs before we decided to start ours. So we had a short run in. So we're delighted that we got over the 5,000. We always thought we sort of would, but we'd love now to hit over 10,000. But it wasn't just that, and the Mayo Roscommon Hospice will be the first to tell you, it was to create the awareness what they do more than anything.
Yeah.
We brought an audience to them that would never have even known what they were about, that they were even there.
Yeah,
So,
I didn't know about them until I seen what you guys were doing.
yeah.
So there you go. Now your average person, in terms of their charity work, it normally tends to be around the 0 mark or the occasional €2 because they got asked at their front door. What makes you want to do so much for charities and so much for these people?
I don't know. It came with the
Because you do a lot
platform.
of charity work.
Well, we do a lot of charity. In fact, I say most of the work we do on the pages, this year has been charity work, or helping out other charities, or doing our own charities. The reason we like to focus, well, me and I know Peter's as well, we love doing good things for good causes. We love helping people out. We have a platform, and it's not like we're doing live shows anymore. And even if we were, I think we still do charity work. We always had this idea that when we were doing the live shows, why not, and to keep our own minds focused, why not tie it in with a run the next day wherever we're doing the live gig, so that, and we were going to focus on mental health, so that anyone that wanted to come with us the next day for a run, everyone chips in €2 or €3, fiver. It goes to mental health. But it wasn't just the money, it was to get people out. Maybe people that didn't want to go to the pub, that was near the drinking scene, or wants to stay away from the drinking scene, that we could catch up with them in all the different towns and bring them along. There's no point in having a platform if you're not going to use it for some good. And that's just the way we roll.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I love when people, like, no matter what size their platform is, they do a bit of charity work. Like our friend James C. Burns, he did something for the American Veterans Association pretty recently. And his platform isn't that big, but he did plenty for it. And like yourselves, again, doing all kinds of different runs, all kinds of different things for charity.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The work you guys do is amazing.
No, it is, yeah.
Like that, it's as good for us. It's as good for us mentally as it is for the people that we love. And that's I said it before, that if we didn't have these things to train for and to focus on, we'd be the ones in the pub. We'd be the ones that'd be depressed from Monday to Friday. It keeps us focused. It's just the Irish way. There's two ways of being Irish. There's the good side, and then there's maybe the pub side of things, and we want to stay. Now, don't get me wrong, we love pints.
There you go.
And we drink pints with the best of them, but it's nice to keep focused on the good things.
Yeah, just a moment ago you brought up the training. Now, running the border of Mayo is not an easy task. That took a lot of training. So how do you prepare for this run?
Well, like I said, we had planned on doing the Wild Atlantic Way. So from the run last year, I never really stopped training. I always had in the back of my head that this year was the year for the Wild Atlantic Way run. And I just kept that fitness level up. Maybe not as much as maybe in the last 3 months, but all the way along, I climbed the reek maybe once a week, definitely once every 2 weeks. In the summertime, maybe try 2 or 3 times a week. Go for a 10K run every day, and then on a Saturday maybe go for a longer run, like a marathon distance or maybe half marathon. And then over the last 2 months, I put in intermittent fasting, which it was a game changer. It really is.
Tell us a bit about
that. Well, intermittent fasting is, you can start off at 16 hours where you don't eat. Now that includes sleep, so it sounds difficult, but if you include your sleep, you can work around your eating pattern, so that you can put your sleep into that. So let's just say I stop eating at 6 o'clock. Now anyone that doesn't eat past 6 o'clock anyway until the morning time is going to lose weight straight away, because eating after 6 o'clock, you're not burning it up like you would if you ate closer to say bedtime. So let's just say 6 o'clock, stop eating. Only drink water, and if you can at all, I try and go without water. They recommend to try and do it without water, but a lot of people wouldn't be able to do that because you get headaches or whatever. I've tried to do it without water. So you go then 16 hours at the beginning. I got it up to 18 hours and then up to 20 hours. So you fast for the 16 to 18 to 20. Some people do 24 hours. And then you have a window of about 4 hours where you can eat as much as you can. You obviously eat as healthy as you can, but literally everything that you eat then, it's been put to good use straight away. All of where it's meant to go goes. And after 16 hours, your body starts burning fat that it wouldn't do normally. And any exercise you do after 16 hours, they say it's twice as good for you. It builds your muscles, repairs your muscles, your skin gets better, your sense of smell gets better, your eyesight gets better. It's bringing back to what we were like when we were like thousands of years ago. Simple as that. We're not designed to eat every 3 or 4 hours. If you go back years and years ago, like there was no fridges when men were in caves, or there was no deli shop or whatever.
We touched on this yesterday. We had two competitive eaters on, and the number 1 female competitive eater and number 8 ranked lad, and they were saying like for what they do, like they're both very fit people.
Oh yeah.
And someone did a study on them, and it was about. Okay, so they ate 48 hot dogs at a competition.
Okay.
48, that's a big number. So they said, what would be the effects of eating that over the course of a week versus in one sitting? And which was more beneficial to your health, and blah, blah, blah. And like you're saying, eating all at once, that was the most beneficial one to them. And we went into how, like, back in the day, even if you had 10 lads who just took down a deer, you aren't going to finish it. So stuff yourself to bits and head on. Yeah. A bit off topic. So, whose idea was to run around the Mayo border?
I'd say we literally looked at each other at the same time, and we were like, "What could we do this year? Now that we can't do the Wild Atlantic Way?" And we were looking out over Clue Bay, and it was like a eureka moment. Pete looked at me. It sounds like we were fucking two boyfriends. We looked at each other. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's 2020 after all.
Oh, God, no, of course.
There you go.
But we looked at each other, and it was like, what about Mayo Club? And it was like, yeah, let's do it straight. Like there was no questions asked. The only thing is it was a little late, and we knew that there was other charities going on, so we knew there'd be a tight window first. But look, we had a bit of a follow, and we got as much out of that as possible. Plus, I think the people enjoyed the week. I think they enjoyed the videos, enjoyed the crack. And like a lot of people said, it was the best thing that happened over the summer, and we enjoyed it, and we really missed it this week. Really missed it. I missed having that support network, having a reason to get up in the morning. I missed all the friends being around at the same time. Knowing a sense of an achievement as well, and really missed it this week. But anyone that does a challenge like that will come down eventually.
Yeah.
So
I just want to point out that from the last time you were on here, you are in such better form. Like you're looking well, number 1. But even the way you're talking now, like your energy is just up here. Like I swear, like right now, you could go out and run it again.
Well, I would love to, and I wouldn't mind. But the legs are. People here earlier on, but he had to go. The legs are as good as they were before we started running, and that is down to a fantastic physio we had, Connor, who we absolutely tortured for the week.
Yeah.
Him, and he came out of SIS clinic in Castlebar. But no, they were fantastic. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. The last time I was on here, actually, I was after having 2 nights on the beer, and that was the last time I actually had a drink. It was like a break for me in my training, and drink straight away. Like I love the drink and I love the crack. I love it. But the come down is just horrible. I suffered terrible with the blues depression, and as I'm sure, as does Pete, as does Owen Cobb, as Martin Maloney does as well. They all do. Actually, the only one that probably doesn't is salmon. He can bad time sessions and no change the next day at all.
Yeah, he's a beast.
That's sure, like he's built different, like he is.
He is built different. Just to touch on your recovery during the run, because you did this over a couple of days, and it's you need to recover. Like we seen you guys on tables getting, if I can like, your massages and so on. So what was the recovery like?
Well, we were running from usually about 8:30, 9 o'clock till 6 or 6:30. I think Belmullet we got in about 6:15. Then we'd be shipped off to get the massages, and we'd very little time for sleeping, because by the time you do the social media side of things and got your rub down and get your shower in, sleep, I would love to have got an hour or two more sleep, but I don't sleep an awful lot anyway. But Pete loves sleeping. He could sleep for 36 hours in the one day. It was brilliant. The physio, and them. Did you see them pressure boots that we had?
No, I didn't see pressure boots. What was that?
They literally were like leather trousers that were made into like blood pressure monitors. They're and next thing they're attached to a machine that blows them up, and literally it just tightens in on your legs from your ankles all the way to your hips. And there's some job. We used to wake up in the morning with like what we thought were new legs. It was just like a blood pressure monitor or blood pressure. You know, the thing that on your arm that for checking blood pressure.
Yeah.
Really tight, and next thing it releases again. Well, that was like that, but it was like the full length of your leg, and it might start getting tight at the bottom first, and then work its way up.
Wait.
And then down again. They were class. On top of the physio, they were just brilliant, and we got them donated to us for the week from a sports recovery clinic in Claremorris, where they had seen the stories on the Instagram page, and actually donated it on the first day. Contacted Chris Gavigan, who was chief organizer and made an unbelievable job for. Contacted Chris, and that was the way it was all week. People were seeing what was going on, and they were given anything that they could, and that is exactly what it was. We didn't have to ask for nothing. People were just throwing stuff at us. People along the route were stopping us and shouting in from their houses, do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want a cup of tea? So it was like, it was mental. It was surreal. I mean, I'm talking the wildest places in the country, and the most isolated place in the country, and people coming out of their houses. And people that wouldn't be on Instagram, late 60s, early 70s. I'd say one man was in his 80s shouting at us to come in for a cup of coffee. It was crazy stuff.
So you got the whole community together, and at times like this, that's pretty important. You know, morale is down low. There's people in absolute bits over COVID.
Yeah,
like I seen some stuff like people can't even go to funerals, so it's pretty rough. But getting the community together, it's a big deal, and doing it for a good cause as well. It's even bigger deal.
It was. That's a good point. It was a great distraction mentally for a lot of people as well. It really was, and even just to get all our friends together, or as many as possible. Like Sean came down from Louth, Brian came over from Castlebar. There was people just joining in the run on the last day. It was great to have a social session outside where it was safe, and it was just magical. And I really miss it, and I know Pete does as well. Actually, Pete today was the first day that he actually G'd up a bit. Like, Aria, look, we'll plan again for next year. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is the Wild Atlantic Way run still going to happen? Like, have you planned that for another time?
That is the dream. We will definitely need funding for it. Apart from whatever charity we do it for, what we would do is we would definitely need like the likes of RTE, Virgin, or one of them, Red Bull maybe, Joe.e. I'm going to plug it to. Just we need funding for the logistics of it. You see, when you're doing it for charity, people will give you, like, we had to pay for no accommodation, no food, the fuel was taken care of, all the support was taken, the physio was given to us, but that's because it's for a charity. If we were doing that as our own project, obviously we're not going to get that. But it was, but in saying that, there's nothing stopping us for doing it for a charity next year. We have an idea, seeing as the hospice was unbelievable in their support. They literally helped us every step of the way. We were thinking of, like, there's hospices in every county or region. So Mayo Roscommon have joined up. There's one full one for Galway. I think there's a northwest one for Donegal, Leitrim and Sligo. There's not, and I know that they're an umbrella for hospices. So there's nothing, like, we have an idea, and we haven't even pitched to them yet, that if we do, we'll say Donegal, Leitrim, Sligo, and we do it for that region.
Yeah.
Then we do the Mayo section again, and that'll be obviously for Mayo Roscommon and then Galway. So all the way along the coast, we're doing it like that. So whatever we raise for the Mayo, like, for that section, goes to them, or else we just we raise as much as we can, and at the end of it, just split it up between how many hospices that are along the way.
Yeah,
like that's one of our thoughts, and like that as well. We're doing that we'll be doing that for the hospice, but we're also doing it for ourselves. I mean, we get a great kick out of entertaining, out of and doing that. It gives us a focus. It's just as good for us. Like, we're being very selfish as well when we're doing this, because we know when me and Pete do these things, we're dragging all our friends behind us, because I know that they feel obliged to help out, and they're going to do it. And I know they enjoy it, but it's a lot of time spent out of their week. Like, some of them lads and girls were there for the entire 5 weeks, and I know Chris Gavigan was literally spent the last 5 weeks trying to get it prepared, so there was an awful lot of time on him.
Yeah. I love you just brought up that you like 10 to 10. Very obvious being in the Hardy books, very obvious with your shows. So when's the next show? Is there any plans for that? What's the crack there?
No plans. We literally put it off until after the run, and now we want to. We're being cute, as Pete would say. We're sort of letting other entertainers and comedians and whatnot just feel around and see what their shows are like. I was at Fred Cook's gig on Friday night in Castlebar, and it was done very well. There was about 40 people, but they were so spread out.
Yeah.
That wouldn't really. Now, we could try and change the show. Obviously, we're going to have to do a new show or write new stuff anyway. Well, I wrote new stuff anyway, and I've sort of developed a different sort of way of delivering stuff, my comedy as well. So that would be fun to do. It's just to get the right sitting. Pete's sets are always crowd interactive. So how to come back off to sort of water that down, it's going to be hard for Pete. So we're just going to have to put our heads together. And Mikey, of course, as well. You see, Mikey's the only one of us that actually has a full five-day a week job.
Yeah, you were saying before.
Yeah, so that's why he's not involved as much as he would like, or as we would like. So when we do get him, it is fantastic. But like that as well, I need to make it for shows. I definitely needed to make it financially viable for the two lads to come along, and myself. It's an expensive, like, accommodation, fuel, taking days off. Well, for Mikey, it needs to be worth his while financially. We had a lot of gigs last year that were sellout and they were brilliant, but we had just as many that just literally just covered the expenses, and it's not worth spending 2 or 3 days for one show that it doesn't pay off. So we have to be a little cuter on where we book, and what time of year we booked. We got an awful lot of very good venues last year, and I let someone else sort of run it. I couldn't understand how we were getting all these venues that usually charge €1,000 or €1,400 for the room. The way it works is the venue, a lot of these venues charge you to use the venue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the likes of the Sugar Club or Workman's,
Okay.
they charge you to use the room.
Yeah.
Some of them charge an awful whack. Others then, but I couldn't understand how we were getting them, and we were getting them like free, and we were getting them, for very, very low rates, and I was like, this doesn't sound too good to be true. But an awful lot of the time, it was the end of rag week in one of them. There was something else happening in a different venue in the town, something big. I think was it Tommy Tiernan was in town, and the other venue in the town was like, and he would have sold out for like so long. So we just have to be cuter on what we book. But then again, of course, there was other venues like up in Galway, Port was it Laois, Dublin. We always get a great crowd in Dublin. It just made up for it again. But we need to focus better on venues that we were down at Cork. We loved Cork as well. So
yeah. Next time you've won in Galway, give me a shout, because I'm looking for an excuse for a staycation. I love to come see a show.
Listen, we'll be, anything that we do, we will promote the heck out of it. There'll be no one that will not know what's up.
Yeah. You'll have the place all done up. So yeah, it's a bit weird at the moment with lockdown and what we can and can't do. What's it like in Mayo at the moment? Like, how are the pubs going as well?
Mayo is fine. Mayo is fine for now. The pubs are open. Some of them, and I'm not going to mention any names, but some of them are as if nothing has ever changed. And then other ones, and some of them are very good pubs. They've just gone by the book, by the rules, and it's not the same. I mean, when you have 3 or 4 in one table, and there is a big break until the next table, and you can hear, because everyone is so far away from each other, you can hear all the conversations going on, and it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And everyone is sort of, especially at the beginning of the night, everyone is sort of standoffish, and you can't go to the bar. I used to love like being at the bar. I much prefer stood at the bar than actually sitting down. And that's like, the bar is completely empty.
That's where the crack happens.
It's where the crack happens, and you meet different people from different groups, and it all gets intertwined, and that's where the crack happens. But it's a bit weird in some places, but in general, look, it's going great. We done the run. We had no problems with it. We had no one ever stopped us from going in anywhere. Actually, we were down in Achill and at Tedler, but we had been down there a few weeks earlier, and I know he's in court, like in the High Court, I think, to try and get the guards are trying to stop his license, because I think he was open. He stayed open a little bit even after the food. But I hope he gets on well, because he's a really nice guy and he helped us out big time. But look, who's right and who's wrong? I don't know. I have an idea that, like, I am probably, I don't know if it's beginning to be a popular opinion now, but I just think
maybe not
let it run its course. But I would rather die on my feet than die on my knees. Does that make sense?
No,
I get you. That is opinion that's on the rise at the moment. I understand it. I understand both sides. Some people don't want to go out, and then you touch off a lad's shoulder, and then they touch their shoulder and they give it to the grandma and they die. Like, people don't want that to happen.
Obviously, we want to protect the vulnerable. I mean, I don't. I have a grandmother still alive myself.
Yeah. But then the other side of it is suicide rates are up, domestic abuse is up, child abuse is up. Yeah. What are we going to do about this? It's not sustainable.
No,
it's not.
So, we need to figure out what we're going to do. Even in Ireland at the moment, like, the cases are huge.
Oh,
did you guys see yesterday? It was
bad. Yeah. But
another 600?
613.
Yeah. But another thing is, lads, there's a big difference between dying from COVID and dying with COVID.
Yes, definitely. and that's not spoken about enough.
Yeah, so I think the media has an awful lot. If you look at any of the headlines, it's always the big dramatic headline first. If there was no one died, and there was 623 people dead yesterday, or with cases, and no one had died, you're going to see on the thing 623 new cases, and then a small print, but no further deaths.
Yes,
That's the way. And that's the way it's always been. The no further deaths always is the small print at the bottom, and sometimes it's not there at all.
Yeah.
The thing that's the thing with the media is that they never focus on the positive side of anything. It's always the doom and gloom for them.
Because they're competing with YouTubers, they're competing with other people on social media, influencers, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They have to compete with that.
Yeah.
So they had to take on the clickbait approach, like a lot of creators do.
Yes.
So that's what's going on at the moment. Like, we know how to treat it so much better, but people still die. We don't know what to do. Like, people have died from worse, and we've done nothing about it. But here we are today.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not up to us to figure it out, but hopefully it does get figured out.
It's up to Mihal and the boys up there.
That's another thing. I do not understand why when Leo and I think I said this the last time, when Leo got in, I was never a Fine Gaeler, but I actually believed in Leo Varadkar. I actually thought he spoke very well. I thought he was young. I thought he came in from a different angle, and then when he took over, he just got lost with the boys. It was the same old shite. But then when the pandemic happened, he took over and he actually gave a little bit of stability to the place.
Mm.
And not even kidding, one of the best leaders we've ever had in a situation like that.
Yeah.
He just did so amazing in that moment. And all three of us here agree that he was better during the pandemic than anyone else could have been.
Yeah, and he was better in the pandemic than he had been as Taoiseach all the way along.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a sign of a great leader. But then they go and change the government.
Oh, yeah. No.
Well, I guess, so we live in a democracy, it has to happen. Otherwise, people would be screaming from the rooftops.
Oh, yeah.
But sure, look, that's what has to happen. I don't even agree. I think we should have kept Leo, because the guy's he's a doctor, isn't he? Like, he's trained to be a doctor.
Yeah,
like,
he was working as a
He
doctor.
handled it so well. He just did such a great job. And then the other lad, as you said, he's one of the best Irish actors of all time. I showed you that thing. Your post went viral.
Yes. And a rake of pages screenshotted it and never give us credit for that either. But people were sending me, and I was like, sure, I didn't even screenshot that. I didn't put up a post about that. I just wrote it on Go.ie. And this thing, I looked, someone tagged us in one page, and it was up about an hour and it's been shared about 500 times. I'm like, what the fuck? But
you're just that funny. Obviously, people agree with you. I agree with you. I'm not sure how Thomas feels about it, but I definitely agree with you.
I feel very strongly about the government. I have very, very strong opinions. I
can tell you you're itching there to say something.
I would.
Thomas, use your moment.
Oh, Jesus. Right, let's talk about agriculture. No, I'm not. I'm not going to get into it now because I'd be here for a very long time. But how many times have they fucked up now? Like, there's been 4 or 5 controversies, and they've only been in for the last, how many months have they been in now? About 4 months, I'd say. Not even that, 2 or 3. You know?
The leaving cert now is another thing, another mess.
Yeah, they did me out of points, and I'm after getting a message there saying I got more points. So,
not we've been brilliant at the same time. But the thing is, not only are they making mess ups, which every government will do, but they don't give you any confidence that they're going to fix it.
No, not.
Yeah, I'm terrified of my brother and sister being in school and then going to college. Like, the college is taking this way more seriously, and they have a lot of room, and then the schools aren't taking this as seriously, and they're like, have so little room. Like, in our local school, I'm not going to name it. They're built to hold 350 students. They have nearly 800 in there. That's a health and safety hazard. Like,
Yeah.
there's been cases in the school already.
Oh, it has.
People have had to quarantine and stay home. It's been insane, but yet they're still open.
Yeah. I don't get it. There's a lot of things I don't get in this. Like, open the schools, but yet they open the schools, but yet you can't go to the pub. You can you have to wear a mask to a restaurant. When you come to the door, you have to put the mask on, but you can take it off the table. But yet the kids can go to school with no masks, especially the younger ones.
Yeah.
It doesn't make enough. And then everyone goes, and the buses are allowed to run to bring them to school, where they don't have to wear a mask either. And then they're just let into the and everyone. There could be 50 in the bus, but yet in the schools they have to be in pods.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't make, like, they're all it's all confusing.
It was very confusing. It is.
And
go on.
Gatherings of 50, but you can only have 6 from the same group. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. The numbers aren't adding up at all.
Yeah, myself and Thomas had a shock and horror moment pretty recently. So we started college last week, and a bit before that for our orientation. Well, it was our orientation, right? We went past a primary school, and the kids were in the yard. Thomas, how many would you reckon? 200, 300 kids?
200, 300, yeah, but
not one mask, 2 teachers, shoulder to shoulder. And they weren't social distancing. Like, it's hard to get kids to do it anyway. But they're they're like, kids don't understand personal space.
Each other to the ground.
Anyway.
They were beating the shit out of each other like you do when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Tag. It's
like, kids are germ factories. Let's all accept this and just get them out of there.
And at this time of year, they're going to bring their own germs anyway. The flu, the cold.
Yeah,
everything anyway. So that's just the natural process. But in saying about passing schools, did you see the school that came out to wave us on the run?
No, tell us about
it. On the 4th day, we were like, again, this is a really rural part of Mayo. We were sort of going up the hill, and I could see to my right, and I seen this woman out with what looked like an iPad. And I thought, that's great. And next thing I looked to the right, and I realized that it was a school, because it had like blue flags and all them sort of stuff up. And next thing I seen like a rush of kids out as far as the wall. And we were going very slow at the time, and I just turned to Pete and I said, we better actually make out like they were running here. So he was like, for fuck's sake. But anyway, we started running then, and I wouldn't mind, but we kept running for about 5 or 6K of a tow in. So it was lovely to get that 5 or 6K out of the way, because the 4th day, for some reason, we found it was very hilly. So we were walking the hills. We ran up this hill, but it was so beautiful. It was the only time that I teared up until the end, to see all the kids lined up, and it was just magical to cheer us on. It was really magical. But like that, everyone was on top of each other. They tried their best. I know for a fact the teachers tried their best to keep everyone separate, but it wasn't happening. Kids just will not, especially when they're excited.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of people to control 300 little people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's just my thing. I don't think kids should be in school right now. I think it's scary for them, number one.
Yeah.
And then they could just wait. Like, why don't we just wait? Like, the kids aren't contributing to the economy. Why are they there?
Yeah. Well, you see, they're there
just a
because
danger.
If they're not at home, if they're not in school, the teachers are getting paid and they're not working. Okay, which is fantastic, but the government will not do that. They will not. To them, that's a waste of money. So that's why the kids are just shipped off to school. The last thing that's going to be closed down again is the schools. I can guarantee that.
100%.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I get that.
No, it's one thing that scares me. Like, online school was great, especially when we were doing the Leaving Cert. That was fine. Tune in, do your bits. And doing it with college, same thing. It's all right. But anyway, away from the doom and the gloom of it all,
Oh yeah. We sound like RTE. Christ.
The crack nuts, as Pete says. So, with these charity things you've done, what's the next ones you want to do? Like, you obviously have plans for future charity events, and I'm assuming you're going to run the next few. Or is there anything else you're thinking of doing?
Well,
Swimming?
Well, actually, Pete's a great swimmer, and he wanted to swim the full the Shannon.
Swim the
He
Shannon.
wanted to swim down the Shannon, downstream, and now I would have to learn how to swim, of course, to do that. Which would be, but that was one of his plans, and I am learning. He is teaching me because Pete is a qualified surf instructor and swimming instructor.
He's a what instructor and a what?
He's a surf instructor and a swimming.
Sounds like him. Yeah, sounds like him.
Yeah, and his brother is as well, Ali, who played pot roast, and he was with us on the run. He's so many things. He's a qualified physio. He's a qualified swim instructor, teacher. He's a PE teacher.
Not just a pretty face.
All the Cassidys were mad into their sports and all got involved in some way like that. So, but that's one of them. Actually, Fred Cook is a good swimmer as well. He used to be on about that too with Pete.
Yeah. Then
Pete is also prefers running off road, which like over mountains and stuff like that. Which I love hiking, but I hate running on grass or cross country. I don't know why. Everyone else, I'm the one of the 5% in the country that actually prefers the road to off road.
Yeah, because off road's better for you.
Yeah, it's better for your joints. Yeah, but no, I prefer we have a solid ground that I'm not second guessing my step, because I don't know why. It's just the way I learned to run, and that's the way. Now, don't get me wrong, I love climbing. I love climbing Patrick. I love climbing over mountains or passes like that. Love it, and I love taking the scenery. But when it comes to running, it is literally on the road.
Yeah.
Look, we'll do anything to that we thought would create a bit of awareness for something or do good in something. We do literally anything. So do you know what an idea that we came up with lately? Instead of doing with the live shows, we were thinking about writing a play, an actual like feature length play, and bringing it to theaters.
What?
Yeah.
Now, before you say anything else, that sounds amazing, and I'll be honest, you're the last guy I would think of to do something like that. Stephen Cowboy Kelly, the last man I think of writing a play. But tell us all about it. That sounds awesome.
Well, Pete always wanted the long play, the long version. He wants to do longer videos, and I love doing longer videos as well. Obviously, we've had a lot of success with the short videos, but that's just the way social media has gone. But he wants to go back to the 10-minute YouTube clips and like a feature-length film. He has an idea for a feature-length film that he's in talks with the producer about. I don't know if I can tell you this, but I've said now, so there it goes. And it's very funny, but he would love to do a play. We have a couple of different ideas, and it's just to see what sort of production we would have to do, and it could be a great way of focusing for about 6 or 7 months to try and get it down and what the production level would need to be. I think the trick with theatre is the less props you need, the better, because there's less break in the play, changing up.
Yeah.
And less can go wrong.
It was wrote for one. It'd have to be wrote for one room, maybe 2 different rooms, because I always think the break and changing, you're just into the flow of something. The next thing there's a break because the backdrop has to be changed or whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the likes of the West End or in Broadway, where everything just seems to happen, because obviously the more money you spend on it, the better it's going to be. Yeah. But so that could be very, very interesting, and I know for a fact that if we do it, we'll do it right.
Yeah.
That could be our way back to Vicar Street. I always said we'd be back in Vicar Street, and I won't rest until we are.
Yeah. Yeah, just what we say now with the feature film and the play. Obviously, we all love the Hardy Book stuff. Have you any plans, anything else with doing more videos like 3 Books Left, yourself, Sam, and Peter? Maybe some other people who were in it, like Pot Roast.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Pot Roast always wants to be in the videos. It's just to literally nail down everyone to be there for a few days. Now, obviously, the run took over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And like I said before, we are building up new equipment. We're getting the equipment as we're going along. And so we're just letting the run settle in for until the 13th of October, because we're going to push the link until then, and anyone that wants to donate is in with the chance of winning a prize. I'm just going to push that in there. You can check the link out on our bio page, or on our bio on Instagram or on Facebook. But so after that, then the heads are going back together and seeing where we're going. Then we've our challenge done for this year, and now we're going to making longer videos. We've actually opened up a YouTube page, even though we actually haven't called it 3 Books Left. I can't remember what it's called, but it's just to have it there so that when we do start making the longer videos, that we've already the platform there.
Yeah, if you can get me that link for it or name for it whenever you're ready to announce it, I'll do bits for it. So, well, I know you're a busy man. I know you have to go soon.
Yeah.
Probably deadlifting and stuff besides you. But this wouldn't be a Hardy Books podcast if I didn't ask about, is there any more progress on season 5? If you can't talk about it, you can't. But if there's nothing, there's nothing.
Well, I know that I was actually talking to one of the headmen in it, and everything was put on the back burner, especially the likes of the Hardy Box when the COVID. But I heard on word in the grapevine is that like there's green shoots coming out of RTE where they've probably got a bit of money and now they want to like throw it into something. So you never know. Obviously, we would love to be involved in it again. The
country needs you, lads.
I know. Look, we would love because we deliberately on 3 Bucks Left. We deliberately away from old Hardy Bucks posts, unless they're very, very relevant for now. Mm-hmm. Just to see how we get on without having we're always going to be known as the Hardy Bucks at some stage. We've even talked about changing the 3 Bucks Left name, because as soon as you hear Bucks, everyone says Hardy Bucks. So we've actually thought about that as well, and we have a name picked out, and it is awesome.
There you go.
You see, no one will ever guess the name, but it'll definitely be a shock.
Yeah.
When people.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I suppose that's all. So man, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for getting on.
The next time I'll definitely organise the two lads as well. You see, Pete's living up just on the Donegal border. So he's gone back there tonight. He was down for the weekend, and Salmon is working, and he works most weekends. So we'll definitely get a podcast coming up in the next few weeks with the two lads as well.
That's spot on. We're supposed to have Martin on soon, so I might even be tonight. So it's great. It's great to talk to you guys. I'm going to ask him the same stuff about season 5, but here hoping, here praying. Yeah. Anyway, if people want to check you out, they want to check out 3 Books Left, where can they find you?
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook. Now we're back on TikTok, by the way. We're banned off TikTok. we snuck back in. We snuck back in there a couple of weeks ago. We've now opened up a Twitter account, even though I haven't figured out how to use it yet. Apparently, you're not on Twitter until you've had an argument on Twitter. So if anyone wants to have an argument with us on Twitter, just text us and we're good to go.
I'll have an argument with you for free.
I'll go watch
we love arguing on Twitter, man. It's great. I got into one the other day because I said I've never watched The Polar Express, the film, and so people told me that I should die.
I heard it was very divisive. It was a divisive platform, all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, accurate.
Anyway, thanks everyone for watching or listening, wherever you found it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell your grandma about the podcast, and take it handy.
Good luck to you.
All right, guys.